What is going on again, everybody? Welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling. We actually have some wrestling news. This is a news break from today. And yeah, amidst the fact that WWE announced that SmackDown will now be going back to the USA Network and a $1 billion deal, which, you know, it's crazy how much money that company makes. And all of these other things, and Raw and NXT are kind of up in the air right now whether or not they're going to remain with NBC Universal, but there are some offers out there from Disney, from Amazon, and so on and so forth. But that all paled in comparison that as they're making all this money, at the same time, they are releasing not only staff, and over 100 people got released from the corporate offices, but now we have wrestlers who have been released from the company. The number one on the list is Dolph Ziggler, who has been around WWE for such a long time. The last time he was really that relevant was about 2014. They kind of started and stopped with him a lot of times. He never quite got to where we all thought he could get to. He got close a few times. He'd been world champion, but he never really got where. And a lot of that is put on the booking. Ziggler was, despite the name being kind of silly, Dolph was always a really great hand. He had a lot of Shawn Michaels ability to him, a lot of Billy Gunn stuff. But as most people thought he was going to be a WWE Lifer, that turns out not to be the case. He has now been released from the company after all of this time. He was one of the highest. I think it probably has to do with the fact that this was a topic a few years ago about some of the highest paid guys in WWE, and because of tenure, guys like The Big Show, guys like Dolph Ziggler were getting paid a lot of money, even though you didn't see Dolph Ziggler in like a main event spot for, 6 years or so now. The reason that came up is a lot of people asked back around 2016, 17, 18, when you had the likes of AJ and Kenny Omega and Prince Devitt doing all the stuff they were doing in New Japan. A lot of fans wanted to see, when Dolph Ziggler's contract came up last time, him go to New Japan or go to the Indies and do that, since he wasn't really being used in WWE because there were a lot of dream matches outside of WWE that people wanted. We may be getting those now. There's no word, of course, as of yet as to whether or not he's going to be going to All Elite Wrestling, if he's going to wrestle in Impact, if he's going to wrestle at all. Maybe he's just going to call it a career. I do know Dolph has he loves doing stand-up comedy, so he's had a lot of fun with that. That's the big one. That's the big one that everybody's really kind of shocked about. Another one was Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin got released after being brought back to the company a couple years ago. Had a couple things here and there. The Her Business stuff and all that stuff was pretty cool, but we're done with that. So Shelton's been released. Elias has been released after. Elias is kind of a hard one to kind of peg because the character was good, but I think a lot of hardcore fans didn't really like him too much, and I don't know, the Zeke thing didn't really work. That was kind of weird with him and Kevin Owens last year. That was one of those down parts of that old stuff that we didn't like about WWE. On the other hand, we also got Mustafa Ali once again. He finally got his wish. He asked to be released. I think it was about a year ago. He asked to be released back when AEW was still hot. He wanted to go over there allegedly. What the rumor was, who knows if that really was the case. But he did ask for his release, as it was reported, and now he finally got it. The one that's most tragic is Emma. Because Emma, again, another person who was brought back to WWE. But what happened was with Emma, after she tweeted out, because she is on Aussie, she tweeted out that was coming to Australia and that dreams come true, and then she was released, and then a couple hours later she released another tweet talking about how she, never mind, I've been let go. That's pretty bad. That sucks for her. Riddick Moss also was let go. That one is a little surprising. I thought he always had a big upside. Boogs. Poor Pat McAfee will never again be able to enjoy a Boogs Nakamura entrance, hopping up on the desk, dancing around like an idiot. But yeah, Boogs, last year he had that unfortunate leg injury where his leg kind of collapsed on him at WrestleMania and that tag match against, I think it was Alpha Academy, and then Boogs was teaming up with Shinsuke last year. But all of these releases, it goes to show you again that there are cost-cutting measures. That just because a company makes $1 billion in a deal doesn't mean that they're still not going to trim the fat when they will need to trim the fat. Now, the releases is one thing. The office staff is a different thing. And the first thing a lot of people are going to think about is, and other people brought this up, this isn't as tragic as it would be, say, 10 years ago. If this had happened 10 years ago, to wrestlers or people in the wrestling industry, you pretty much were out of a job. Or you're going to have to scrape by on $50 a gig or at indie shows and conventions and stuff like that. Or maybe something a little bit more than that, maybe more than $50. But, you know, they're not going to be anywhere close to that WWE money. But now things have changed. New Japan is paying Mercedes Moné an obscene amount of money to be in their women's division. Of course, you have AEW with all the money AEW is kicking out. Impact Wrestling, who just got Trinity. They're not, you know, adverse to spending some money on maybe one or two big stars. The production team, I think, and the office people from WWE, as far as all of those layoffs are concerned, I think that's probably more advantageous for AEW. I think AEW would benefit by getting a lot of those behind-the-scenes office people in WWE that ran that company and benefit from their wisdom. Again, that only is a benefit if Tony Khan actually lets them do what they do and he stops trying to control everything. But that is a topic for a different video that I'm going to release a little bit later on. But overall, what do I think about it? It's always sad when people lose their job. It's just a terrible thing. You don't want to, even just if you know you can get another job, like Dolph Ziggler, clearly he could wrestle most anywhere else. Impact, New Japan, AEW, they'd all pay some money to get Dolph Ziggler on there. I'd love to see Dolph Ziggler versus Kenny Omega. I'd love to see Dolph Ziggler versus Kazuchika Okada. I remember when I originally did my New Japan Explained series back in 2007, the Dolph Ziggler of 2007, when I explained who Tetsuya Naito was, I said if you kind of took Ziggler and mixed him with Stone Cold Steve Austin and a Yakuza and put it in a blender, and you get Tetsuya Naito. So I would love to see Naito against Ziggler, the Ziggler from 2017, not the Ziggler from now. But we also know that Ryan Nemeth, who is Dolph Ziggler's brother, another person who had a problem with CM Punk, he had made mention about possible that Ziggles. Wow, that's so weird. Ziggler was in a romantic angle back in WWE with AJ Lee, who is CM Punk's life wife. It's so weird how that all goes. So weird, the 6 degrees of separation in wrestling. But we did see Dolph on the latest edition of Being the Elite, which is a show I don't even watch weekly anymore, but I will be checking out this week's Being the Elite to see exactly what that was, because I guess there was a little hint that that he was leaving WWE and he already knew he was on his way out, and he might be going to All Elite Wrestling. We'll have to see. I think that would probably be my number one pick if he was going to continue to wrestle, where I think Dolph Ziggler would wind up ending up. I wish everybody else the best. I hope that if they can't find a job in AEW or a television for some of the corporate people, I hope everybody lands somewhere well. It's not as easy a job market, but you're dealing with people who are most of these people, if you're coming out of WWE, despite what anybody thinks of the company, you're going to have some credibility as an office person for having the skills, being part of the machine that is WWE, that's their biggest thing is that they are this giant machine. And if you were a wrestler, you had the high profile from being on WWE TV, whether or not you were prominent or not. You were a former WWE star, and that's going to carry some cachet when you go to, if you do shows in the UK or go down to Mexico or go to Japan or go to AEW. I want to know what you guys think about this. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. And until next time, I will see you guys here for more news, rumors, and commentary on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.